All right. We are live in effect, y'all. This is Coach Wood. You are in the Before You Go Pro Locker Room show. Excited for tonight's show because I've got somebody that I look at as one of my day one athletes, somebody that was a phenomenal player himself, but now is giving back to the community. He's coaching a high-flying high school team and really excited to share this gentleman with me. But first, I'm going to get to my trusted co-host, the one that has the most, the one that always got the answers to the questions that you guys have, and that's none other than Q, the guru. What's going on, player?
What's going on? Oh, I'm feeling great, man. I ate all the kids' fruit snacks in the house, man. I'm feeling wonderful.
So they're going to be mad at you. We got to get
I'm
you in and
good,
out
though.
the show because you're
Real
going to have
men
to
eat
answer
all the
to
kids'
some people.
fruit snacks in the house. See y'all.
Hey,
Brother.
man, when the
How
wife
you
go to
doing?
Costco, the kids better be at the house or it's going down.
It's going down. Whole
And
stash gone.
And as I mentioned before, you guys, very excited about tonight's show. If you're joining us for the first time, the Locker Room Show is where we bring the truth to all the aspiring players, the parents, the coaches out there that want to learn more about this football industry. And I was pumped once I got the text from this young man that he was good to go for tonight's show. That is none other than Darius Bell. He played at UCLA. I'm getting old, but I will say that I was fortunate enough to coach this young man in high school. His senior year, we won a championship together. He was our quarterback. And now you guys doing big things at Judah Becerra High School in the Bay Area. They just came off a state game versus Modern Day, tons of talent, and he is the maestro. He's the guru, the OC that's calling the shots, and that's none other than Darius Bell. What's going on?
Coach, what up, baby? Thank you for having me, man. It's an absolute pleasure.
Hey, man, I'm glad to have you on. I want to dive right into it. So proud of you, man. And once again, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, Coach.
Definitely. So let's get right into it, fellas, because I already see that we got people with us. And I see my mother-in-law has jumped in as usual. That's Victoria Jones. She never misses a show, and she definitely loves football. She loves her Denver Broncos when she's doing her thing. So let's get right into it. We got some topics, Q, that are pretty big. And the first one, man, is none other than our boy right here, Earl Thomas, who has gotten into some trouble again. And, you know, Earl was a hell of a player, you guys, obviously in college at the University of Texas. But, you know, after that, he got into some trouble with the Seahawks, some domestic violence stuff. And then now you guys see he's been arrested again. So I want to come to you, Q. When you're an NFL organization, you never want to see your players, whether they're active or former, getting into any legal issues, right?
Naturally.
And do you think the NFL has any type of stance as far as needing to jump in when guys get into trouble after their career, or do you think they should just sit back and see how things play out? I mean, he was a Pro Bowler for I think about maybe 8 years, 7 years.
Yeah.
Do you think that the NFL still has a right to kind of dive into these guys' affairs after football?
I wouldn't say so much dive into their affairs. It's more along the lines of you. Once you're, it's a fraternity, and that's one thing about football, really on all levels, but definitely on that level. You're always gonna represent the league.
Yeah.
So they're always going to have some type of involvement. Now, is it, it depends on how deep it is too. Is it an issue where he's having these aggressive outbursts because of CTE issues, which we've proven that can happen. So we don't know. It may just be a personality issue. Maybe Earl's this a bad guy. We don't know. But the NFL, as long as you're part of that NFL, and definitely if you getting that 5-year pension, they always gonna have be a part of of your life in some way, shape, or form.
Good point right there. And Darius, I mean, they're talking about this may affect his legacy, possible Hall of Fame nominations. Do you think that a man's personal life after his career should should affect possible nominations, or you think it's par for the course?
I think, you know, you have to take into consideration in today's world, in the world we live in, the effects of social media and the power of your image. And I think, you know, in this day and age, when these things happen, it taints careers, it taints legacies. You know, some would say rightfully so, some would say it has nothing to do with the game. But I think that it's a part of the game now. I think, you know, being an image, being someone that the kids could look up to in a bright way, in a bright light, is all a part of that game and the end game, which is, you know, Hall of Fame, publicity, whatever it may be. But I do think that it should hold weight now.
That's a great point right there. And you young athletes out there, you know, once the camera gets turned off, that doesn't mean that people don't want to put you in the media if you do something wrong. So
Thanks.
they're going to continue to follow you and try to put you out there because it gets clicks, you know, it's clickbait. Our next conversation, you guys, is a big one. And this is has to do with the new times of college football, which are kind of crazy. And it says the Pac-12 is getting rid of divisions, you know. And basically what this does, you guys, it opens up for the Pac-12 to choose who's going to be in the conference title game. So the Pac-12 has had some issues getting to the playoffs. And sometimes, you know, the Oregons, the Utahs, the USC, they lose right at the end of the season to a Stanford on a Thursday night, a Wash State, and it throws off everything for the conference as far as getting a Pac-12, or excuse me, a playoff shot. So what's your opinion on this, Darius? I'll start with you. You played at UCLA, Pac-12 guy. When you see this, do you think it's fair? Do you think it's just the rich get richer? What are you thinking when you see this?
Yeah, I think for the teams in the Pac-12, it's great, and it's also a bad thing. Take UCLA for example. We played in the first two Pac-12 championships that there was, because it was the North and the South. If you were to implement this rule back then, we wouldn't have played in that game, at least on one occasion. One time we probably still would have, but we wouldn't have played in it on another occasion. So in that light, it kind of sucks, and it would have sucked for me as a player, you know, if I had an opportunity because of divisions. But the same light, if we want some national recognition, we're going to need to put our best two teams in the spotlight and let them play, and hopefully that could put us on that stage that we want to be at, the SEC stage, you know, Big Ten stage where we could play for that national title.
Guru, what you thinking? I mean, does this kind of make the Pac-12 look like they got to do some extra magic, some extra finagling to get things right? Or do you think that, hey, you got to make moves?
No, you got to make moves, man. I mean, there's one thing about college football, as we see, in addition to NIL and everything else is circulating around it, it's constantly changing. I think, like you said, you got to make sure that you got the right team, the strongest teams in that championship game, because 9 times out of 10, whoever wins that is going to get a playoff opportunity, you know, to play for it all, as far, you know, as a, you know, national title. So again, if you have a team that's 10-0, 11-0, and just by chance slips up and loses to a Stanford or whatever the case may be, with one loss and doesn't make it, you're not sending the strongest team to represent your conference into those final 4 teams.
Great point. So yeah, no, this is about money. This is about making sure things are strategically set up, you guys. They're putting the cards on the table with this one. And the great Jimmy Rucker, who always joins us, says,
Big Jimmy.
He says he likes what the Pac-12 is doing. He says they finally figuring it out. So we're going to roll with Jimmy on that one.
Jimmy from LA, though. You're going to be biased.
Yep, there you go. We're on to our next topic, you guys, and this is a huge one. We're staying with college football. If you're joining us for the first time, we're covering the trending topics that matter to you. If you're a player, if you're a coach, if you're a parent, this is real time. These are the things that are going down in the industry that you say you want to be successful in. So that's what we're talking about. And this one is a huge one, you guys. Somebody got paid, Q. Somebody got paid. And that is Mr. Ryan Day, the head coach at Ohio State, is now, man, he's bringing in $9.5 million. Darius, I know you coaching. I don't know if you want to go beyond Sarah High, but if you get $9 million, I want to be on the staff, brother. And
Good,
the
good.
thing that's interesting, fellas, is if you check out this graph right here, if Ryan Day was in the NFL, he's coaching in college. If he was in the NFL, he'd be right behind Sean Payton, who's at 9.8. So he'd be the fifth highest paid coach, you guys, in the NFL. Darius, what's your opinion, man? Do you think, I don't know your aspirations, but do you think college coaches should get paid more than NFL coaches, or it's just open market?
I think it's an open market. What you're worth.
Okay.
How valuable are you?
Thanks.
There's coaches that deserve that amount of money, and at the end of the day, college coaches, they still get to impact lives beyond the football field. So if in any world, I'd say college coaches maybe should deserve more. When you're in the NFL, you're dealing with grown men. In college, you're trying to help mold lives and win games at the same time, and that's a tall task.
Yeah. What you thinking, Guru? You think that Day's a little too rich right now, or you thinking it's good for the show?
No, I think it's good. And I can agree with what was just said. You look at it like this. Most of these NFL organizations are built off of pipelines for programs like He's Over. You understand? Most of these organizations, they're built off of Alabama players and Ohio State players and Michigan players. So when you're the head coach of those type of programs, then absolutely, because that's what come draft day, these organizations need his guys.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? In order to be successful on their level. So absolutely, that 9.5 is definitely justified.
No, I agree with you guys. It's open market, and these times are showing it more than ever. The kids are making money. That the college coaches are getting paid more than ever. There's assistants that are multimillionaires, you guys. And the reason is they're bringing in the dollars on the TV side. They're bringing in the championship. So it is total open market, and something that you parents need to be aware of, man, because it's bigger business now. And your kid isn't playing for a coach that's only making $30K a year. He's playing for a coach that's making 9.5. So things are a little bit different when you're playing for that type of coach. And speaking of dollars, and this just goes along with what we're talking about, football is rocking, y'all. Football is rocking. And it's interesting that a couple years ago they were saying football was in trouble, but now they're thinking that there's going to be an NFL organization soon worth $10 billion. I think a few of these teams have flipped their figures, have doubled their figures in like 5 years, 4 years. And they're showing the Broncos here, but they're actually talking about the Cowboys, of course. But, they're talking about you guys, Broncos going to sell for $4.5 billion. And they said that people aren't scared of it, that there's more people jumping in. So the reason is because of TV deals. The reason is because of the collective bargaining. They've got an agreement that's set out for years, so the NFL is looking great. In your opinion, Q, do you think any of the other major sports can supplant the NFL as far as just likability and money?
Oh, absolutely. If you Google it, it's a couple of, or if I'm not mistaken, the Yankees are worth way more than the Cowboys. Okay. Manchester United is worth more than the Cowboys. Matter of fact, I think Manchester United, Barcelona, and Real Madrid are all worth more than the Cowboys, because soccer is obviously a global sport. So $10 billion.
As far as the state, states, as far as an organization, whether we're talking Major League Baseball, NBA, or hockey, do you think either one of those in the next 10, 15 years kind of leapfrog football, or no?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I have to double check if I'm not mistaken, because I remember years past they actually were making a list of all sports and the overall net worth of the organizations, and I distinctly remember for sure the Yankees are worth more than the Cowboys. The Yankees, and like I said, beyond that, I believe Manchester United, is worth more than them as well. At least they were at that time. So, yeah, you'll see organizations clear $10 billion here in the next couple of years for sure.
What's your opinion, D, as far as Major League Baseball, basketball, football? Do you think football is going to be king for a while, or you think one of the other sports supplant it?
No, I think football will be king for a while, especially here in the States, in America. Obviously soccer globally is on another, level than all sports. But here in the States, baseball has got its crew. And obviously they play so many games. They could bring in a lot of revenue during those games. But football's special. It's once a week, twice a week. It's like a good TV show. You gotta wait. You gotta wait your turn for it to come out. It's not just
Yeah,
happening every day.
yeah.
So it's special, and I think it'll remain king for a while here.
Yeah, man. What are you seeing at the high school level? Are you seeing numbers drop or stay the same or go up?
It depends on where you're at,
Yeah,
but it's getting harder and harder to play football here in the Bay Area.
yeah.
In Northern California, it's hard for families to afford homes. So you're seeing definitely drop in certain schools, but on the most part, football's still alive and well in NorCal. But like I said, it's getting harder with the prices of living.
Definitely. And we are on, you guys, to our next topic. Once again, if you're joining us for the first time, everything is right there at the bottom ticker. I'm your host, Coach Terrence Wood. That is Q, the guru on the far right. And in the middle is one of my dear former athletes that's doing big things right now, coaching. Darius Bell comes from a football family. His brother Khalil Bell was a great player at UCLA, played probably about 5-6 years in the NFL, and just great family. Darius, with our next section, I want to go to you because obviously you're coaching at Sarah. You're doing an amazing job, but you went through this yourself, man. Once
Mhm.
again, amazing player at UCLA, transitioned from quarterback to wide receiver, still had a cup of tea in the NFL. And I wanted to ask you, what are some of the key changes that you would say from graduating, I believe in 06, 07, to now, where you're helping kids go through the recruiting process? What would you say are some of the major changes?
Accessibility. College access to these kids is at an all-time high.
Okay.
These kids have huddle, and they can make their own highlight
Yeah.
films. We have a recruiting list that we put on an application that we could send to any coach in America. So everything's at your fingertips. So coaches don't have to drive across the country or fly across the country, so to speak, to see kids nowadays. And that's a huge benefit. It's a huge plus for kids. Especially out here in California, where in Northern California, where football is not looked at, like it is in down south. Just being frank and open and honest. So for our kids, it helps a bunch that if coaches aren't stopping by, they could check me out on Huddle or Twitter or Instagram or whatever that may be. So I say that's one thing that helps a bunch is just our kids being visible. Excuse me.
And do they seem like they're eager to take advantage, or are they still kind of some of these kids a little bit more shy and reserved? Do you have to pull it out of them to get active?
Yeah, there's a certain feel that you could just post a workout on Instagram and coaches will come calling. You know
Right.
what I mean? Post a 30-minute video and you're working hard. So there's that stigma and trying to get kids out of that idea that just posting videos and doing all these things on the social surface level is going to suffice in the long run. That's actually part of the deal now and part of the battle. Is getting kids to work behind closed doors and to work when no one's watching. Because obviously we all know it's a different grind in front of a camera and when you're on your own, head down,
Facts.
belly empty.
That is a big point right
Facts.
there. And you guys, we are on to our next segment of the show. And this is the segment that I didn't fully get to tell you about this, Darius, but you're a superstar, man. You're used to the 2-minute drill, and it's none other than the lightning round, you guys. The lightning round is where it goes down. This is a locker room show favorite. This is where our guest has 60 seconds. This is a little bit of our own word association to rattle off whatever comes to his head first when we say a particular topic, when we say a player's name, a coach's name, whatever comes to his head first, he's got to rattle off. So we got a good list for Darius tonight. I thought long and hard because, I'm your former coach. I ain't going to let you off the hook.
This could be a little challenge. I like it.
And just so you know, there's a perk to this. So we have a record right now, I believe. Is it 11, Q?
Yeah, it's 11 right now. That's a number.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Coach Burianic, and I probably cheated him because he was rolling. He probably could have went further than 11, but our record is 11, you guys. So if you're joining us for the first time, right before the football season kicks off, the first college game, we're going to announce the winner, whoever that is in their home state. They're getting dinner on us. They're getting a hotel night. They're getting a night now. It may be, I don't know your love life right now. So it may be just a coach night out, or it may be Coach got somebody to take with him. But if he can get past 11, tonight is his night. And we are going to get the stopwatch ready. I know you ran a couple 40-yard dashes in your day. So let me get the stopwatch ready. You got 60 seconds. You ready to go, Darius?
I think so. Let's do it.
Ooh.
All right. So I'm not going to cheat you. I got the stopwatch. It's at 0. And so I'm verified, you guys. And then I'm gonna say the first one to you. You gotta say first thing on your mind. Keep in mind you're on the time. So let's get ready for the lightning round. Number 1, not cheating you. Hold on. Okay. Number 1, the Rose Bowl. Start.
UCLA Bruins.
City College of San Francisco.
George Rush.
Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, or Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt?
Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt.
Okay. Tony Gonzalez or Gronk?
Gronk.
Nachos or quesadillas, baby?
Quesadillas.
The WCAL, Western Catholic Athletic Association.
Air Padres.
Best player you've ever played against? 38 seconds.
Uswa Amanon.
Sean McVay from the Rams.
Genius.
The SEC, Southeastern Conference. 50 seconds.
Alabama football.
Kyle Shanahan, 49ers.
West Coast football.
You need a drive, Pat Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers?
Pat Mahomes.
Time.
For sure,
Pat Mahomes. We're gonna have to talk over a couple of now. Okay, you were rolling though. Let's see. 1, 2.
He might have got
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11.
I thought he got it, boy.
We're gonna have a battle royale with Coach Burianic from Missouri Baptist. I'm about to tell him that it's gonna be a one-on-one for the dinner in the hotel. But good job, man. So let's go back over here. You said Pat Mahomes, huh?
Hey, that's the correct answer, Coach.
You got to defend 12. It's always harder defending 12 than it is 11.
The facts.
And then you're gonna go. Did you say Marvin Harrison Wayne?
No, I said Isaac Bruce.
Yeah.
That was a tough one, man. But the Rams has a special place in my heart.
Okay. And then when I threw out the league to him, Q, he said it's Sarah Padres, but little do people know we went to the same high school. So I didn't just coach him in high school, but he's not going to throw the Crusaders out there. That's okay. So, no, great lightning round, man. And we are on, you guys, to our last section of the Locker Room Show. Hopefully you guys are enjoying yourself. Hopefully you're learning too, because this ain't just about covering these topics on an entertainment base. This is about learning what's going on in the industry so you can capitalize. We were talking a lot about NIL last week, Darius, and you would have made some money for yourself, man. A hell of a player. So talk to me with our audience Q&A. And if any of you guys, I see 8 people live right now. If any of you guys are players, coaches, parents, you got a question, do not hesitate. You got 3 people right now in the locker room with you, willing to share the truth, that have all played at a big time level, major universities, even pro ball. So don't hesitate if you got a question. Now, if you're watching the recording of this, I know a lot of kids watch the recording, then you can email us at info@beforeyougopro.com. We'll answer your question. But I'm going to pull one from the database today because I do know your story, Darius, and I do know that it wasn't all red carpet. There was some highs and lows, and we can learn from that. When you were at UCLA, you went there as a quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a coaching change.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of leaving, in today's term, they jump in the portal, like the Dr. Pepper commercial.
Yep.
Instead of leaving, you decided to switch positions. You had some success where you even got a pro shot. So tell me about that time for our audience. I know you had people in your ear.
Absolutely.
Back lead. So what was it that made you stay and say, I'm gonna stick it out at another position?
It was where I was. I was at UCLA. My dad didn't get the luxury of going to college, and my family knew that football was an avenue to go to college and to get what was most important, and that was a degree. So when Coach Moore came in, he told me he had 5 schools willing to take me as a quarterback, and I said, Coach, let me stick it out. If I'm not on a 1-2 depth chart by the time spring's up, I'll go wherever you want. But I've been 3 years, and graduating from UCLA means more than playing football. And that was something that that's not for everybody. My brother, that wasn't the same for my brother. My brother was all about going to the NFL. He didn't graduate from UCLA until after his career. But for me, it was about holding that diploma up high and being proud. And football, like I said, was just an avenue for that.
When it comes to a decision like that, or maybe even the decision, because you're dealing with kids right now on your
Mm-hmm.
team that are making college decisions. I know we got the missile Hassan probably watching, one of our faves, but do you think it should be the athlete, the kid's decision when it comes to that type of decision, or do you think the parents should get involved?
I think the parents should have a say, no doubt. But at the end of the day, the only kid that the only person that's going to have to look in the mirror is the kid who makes that choice. My dad wanted me to go to Louisville and play safety. I chose to go to Montana State out of high school and play quarterback. Now that might have been what was best for me, but I would have a lot of regret if I went there and it didn't work out for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So I think parents should support and should give their advice, but ultimately I think those kids have to be firm and steady in their decision, because, like I said, they're the ones that have to live with that choice.
Q, what are you seeing in St. Louis football, Houston football, where you're at, man? Do you think that things are with these kids in high school? Do you think it's a little bit too much for them, or you think most of these kids can handle all the pressure and the recruiting and everything going on?
No, well, it kind of depends on the kid, but I can agree. Like the parent definitely needs to be involved in some way, shape, or form. And yeah, man, it's always gonna come down to the kid. They're the ones that's gotta, man, put this helmet on. They're the ones that's gotta do 6 a.m.s. They're the one that's gotta do 2 a days, and practices every day, spring ball, what have you. So yeah, man, it comes with the territory, but they definitely need some support in regards to making a decision. And then granted too, I mean, you sometimes, man, you just got to believe in your athletic ability, man. You'd be surprised. I mean, I mention all the time. I mean, you look at what the person always jumps out of me is Antoine Randall L. You know what I'm saying? And it's like he made it work. So I mean, I'm not saying like some kids don't have that ability to make the transition to another position like he did, but you don't always have to hit the portal, guys. Sometimes, man, it's better just to stay, believe in yourself, and battle. It just kind of depends.
No, those are great points, fellas. And it's a trip because I'm listening to all three of us, or looking at all three of us. And I think all three of us had a moment where we were thinking about leaving and stayed, because
Yeah.
you were thinking about leaving Kansas. He's thinking about leaving UCLA. I was damn sure thinking about leaving Colorado and stayed. And it worked out, so you guys got to think about that. You parents got to sit down with your kids. It might not be best to jump in the portal. A lot of those kids in the portal are going to stay in the portal and not have a team this season, which is unfortunate. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of tonight's show. I was pumped up for this one. I know you guys got some value. And Darius, man, so proud of you, and keep doing your thing. And thanks for coming on tonight, man.
Definitely appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, guys, man. I appreciate you guys.
And you guys, Juniper Serra High School. This is Tom Brady's old high school. This is Barry Bonds, Lynn Swan, and they're pumping them out right now. And Darius is a huge part of the success of the Padres, and of course, Coach Pat Walsh too. And shout out to Coach Kim Peralta, because I know he might be watching this, and that's my old coach. So, all right, baby, keep up the great work, man.
All right, Darius. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you guys.
I know.
All right, man. Well, hey, I'm so proud of that dude, Q, and another great show knocked down, man. Anything for the audience before we jump out?
None, you guys is, appreciate you guys, coming on, checking this out. Make sure and hit that button for the algorithm and continue, building our community, telling coaches, telling parents, and of course, these young athletes out here about the show for sure.
Yes, indeed. You guys hit that link and make sure you share it, because it's a travesty if you know athletes, parents, coaches that could get this good information, maybe help their career, and they don't ever hear about it. So make sure you guys share it. YouTube's going to pump us up on the algorithm. Tonight, we had a great show with Coach Bell, and there's many, many, many more heavy hitters coming to you guys. So we're excited, and hopefully you have an amazing weekend. We're signing off. We'll see you at the top.